a CNN News 18 exclusive input that has been given by Manoj Gupta on the Bondi Beach attack probe. Now, Indian agencies are set to join the Sydney investigation into the Bondi shooter after sources have revealed that he visited India 3 to 4 years ago to meet with his mother. A joint team of state police and central intelligence agencies now is likely to be sent to Australia to assist the local authorities. The probe will focus on the shooter's ideological leanings, possible online or extremist radicalization, and any links to global Islamist networks. Investigators are also examining whether the attack was driven by organized anti-Jewish hatred or lone wolf radicalization influenced by international propagandas. We're also, in fact, learning that Indian agencies are checking digital footprints, financial trails, also travel details, and any other possible contacts, sympathizers or sleeper networks in the country. So this is what we are learning of the way this probe is now going to be headed, and the intel sources particularly revealing to CNN News 18 that now Indian and Australian authorities are intensifying this coordination in the investigation of this one particular shooter who possibly visited India 3 to 4 years ago. And this particular visit was primarily, and this is what we are learning, to meet with his mother. So that travel to India has become a very, very important angle that is being looked upon by the investigating agencies. Indian investigators will be joining their Australian counterparts, the Australian authorities, very, very soon, we are told. We're also learning that this particular Bondi Beach shooting has been a targeted violence against the Australian Jews, the Jewish community particularly, and this aspect is going to be the key focus of the probe. Also, the other aspect that one is learning of is that the Indian team of the state police and also the central intel agency is now going to be sent to Sydney, to Australia, to be a part of this probe. The core objective is to examine the shooter's ideological leanings. Which way does he swing? What are his ideologies? How has he been indoctrinated? All of these things are going to be looked at. There needs to be a clarity on formal or informal links with terror outfits, and that is very, very important. Did he have a handler? All of those things are also being looked at. And his purpose of India travel, though on the face of it, it looks like he came to visit his mother 3 to 4 years back, there are going to be key aspects that will be put on the table, the places he visited, the possible number of people that he also met with during that travel. Shooters' digital footprints and also financial trails are currently under the review. So all of these things are being looked at, and that's why the Indian agencies very soon are going to be joining their Australian counterparts to extend this investigation and to add to the probe and the way it is headed. My colleague Akanksha Swaroop with all those details. She's joining us from the CNN News 18 newsroom. Akanksha, I've just laid out these points, and this is one crucial aspect that is now being looked at evidently now that Indian agencies are going to be joining the Australian counterparts in Sydney. More on this, please.
Right. These are inputs that have been shared by Security Affairs Editor Manoj Gupta, where we've been told that India will be cooperating with the Australian agencies in investigating the Bondi Beach attack, which also is going to include state-level officers as well as central agency officers, Griha. And they are also going to probe into the angles. What kind of an involvement? Are you looking at a lone wolf attack planning? Are you looking at a larger network which is operating, which is perhaps anti-Jewish, anti-Israel? Remember, we speak at a time when multiple intel inputs had been shared by Israel with Australia. It's also something for which the Australian government has been receiving flack. In fact, the Jewish Council also in Australia had been flagging off this rise in anti-Semitism, and this rise in anti-Semitism is not just peculiar or unique to Australia. We're seeing it happen the globe over. What happened on October 7, in fact, all of those attacks that have been taking place in Europe, whether it is UK, France, Belgium, Germany, all of them reek of anti-Semitism. So we'll have to see, and that is why the link here with India becomes extremely crucial, because remember, it was in the 1990s that Sajid Akram, who was the father of Naveed Akram, was shot dead during the attack. He hails from Hyderabad, and that is why that link will be probed in terms of why did he visit India 3 to 4 years ago, what was the purpose behind the visit, especially keeping keeping in mind the fact that Sajid Akram did not even visit India when his father passed away. So the purpose of the visit is going to be very critical. Is there going to be any Indian involvement? That will be studied by Indian officers as well. Who all did he meet during that trip? That is also going to be very crucial. All of those points of contact that he made during that India visit